And I used to be the guy who used to try to be really pissed off at that, just be like, well, how dare they? What a nerve, But then it's like, okay, cool, no worries. I'll do my own shit. Like, I'm not gonna, spend all this time upset and worried about the no's of the world. I've got nothing but no. Like, all I know is no. So I worry about the yeses in life. You know what I mean? It's just not, it's not valuable to yourself to be worried about what people don't like about you. It's like, you gotta, be worried about so many other things in that, but with this particular situation, I just had to go, you know what? Not where I am in my life anymore. It's like when people aren't agreeable to who I am and what I have to contribute to life and society and art and whatever, there's plenty of other people out there. And lots of people will say no, lots of people will say it's not for me or whatever they say, but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm good. I'm still going to do me. I'm still going to make my contribution to art and life or whatever and keep it moving, And that's the point. I don't know how long it took me to get there, but that is the point. It really is the point. Let's see what time it is. Oh, we got about 15 more minutes. So, I think, it's like I hate when I get so emotionally wrapped up in a topic, because it is personal. It is a personal topic, but it also is a topic that I think some people can relate to. It's one of those things where I think we all have friends in our lives who require more than we're willing to give. It's like I've talked before about my friend of over 30 years who I just finally decided I've reached the cap with you as well. It's like I said I don't love her, and it's not like I'm not mad or anything. It's just like when you've gone the distance with a person, you just realize this is as far as I'm willing to go. I'm not going any further. I've had my share, and it's not to the point where you want that person to feel bad about it. You just go, I've gone as far as I'm willing to go. And it feels weird, because it's like when you talk about it to people, it feels like other people try to make you feel guilty for not wanting to keep investing in it. But I feel like how much you're willing to invest. When you realize, when I thought back, I was like, wow, this person, I think the thing that made me realize that the investment portion on my behalf was over was when I had my book signing in like 2009 or something like that. And, she and her family were going to Catalina, and this is in Southern California. And my book signing was in San Pedro in Southern California, because I lived in Canada, Vancouver at the time. And I was, so she was staying with her family at her brother's house. Now, let me just give you a visual of how this worked out. Now, it took me years to go back to this point, but this just goes to show how sometimes we can be so completely wrapped up in wanting to hold on to something purely for sentimental and sort of nostalgic reasons, but not for good purpose. So I was in San Pedro. I decided to have my book signing at Williams Bookstore in San Pedro, because that was where I grew up, and I remember this bookstore had been around for 100 years, and I thought this is pinnacle. This is important. It's like you do this here is where you started, because this is where my life began, in San Pedro. So I was like, okay, let me do it here. And my friends came out. My true friends came out. People I went to high school, junior high school, elementary, they were there. No joke, they were there. And it was a shining moment for me. It was a moment where I had accomplished something deep and huge and big. It wasn't just the book, it was the part of my life that I had accomplished. Like, I was out of this horrible relationship, my mom had died, and all these things were going on, and I had survived them all. And it was like, and I wrote a book. So okay, so after that, you have, like, you just go through so much stuff. You're like, wow, people have weddings, people have all these different events, and people, they're major events in people's lives, and when people show up, that means something to you. You know, you start going, that person's die hard. That's a die hard friend. So I have this book signing. Now, the friend normally lives in Northern California, you know, like 400 or 500 miles away. But in this case, she's literally, the bookstore is on 9th Street, and she is literally on like 1st and, let's just say, I think it's like 1st and like Bandini. So we're talking, the bookstore that I had the book signing at is 3 miles away. 3 miles away. And she didn't come. She says, I have to go to Catalina. And I was like, and at the time, because there were so many people there, it was okay. It was like I excused it and moved on. But then when all of this came down last year, where I was like, wow, like all the events, everything started to come out how she was absent. She was not present in anything important to me. And it's like, when I was going through the hardest times of my life, she didn't even know that I was going through them because she wasn't present. And then I just decided to co-sign it. I was like, you know what? You don't want to be here? I don't want you to be here. So I stopped responding, and then it turned into, oh, you're writing me off. And to me, that is the biggest insult, when people say you're writing me off. But it's like, no, I just co-signed. I simply just signed on the portion of the document where my name was placed to sign to make this a bonding agreement. And I just go, I'm so over it. And so from that point on, actually well before that, but I decided no more. I'm not going to take responsibility for you know, when people say I write them off. It's like, no, I don't write people off. I just co-sign. I just sign where the paper says my name, and it turns into the legal binding document. And people need to get over themselves, because it is just the most annoying thing when people put their bullshit on you and you're supposed to somehow be the bad guy. And I'm just not. I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be the bad guy anymore. And I told myself that like a couple of years ago, and now I'm following through, where I'm just like, if you don't want to accept your responsibility for shit, then that's on you. That's just on you. And, you know, this is not what I wanted my show to be about today. I always start this show off thinking it's going to be positive, and then it turns into this, oh my god, he's ranting. But you know what? That is just what it is. You know what? I'm not even going to apologize anymore, because I just be having shit on my mind, and stuff happens. Stuff happens to me, you know? Like, I always push for it. I was telling a friend of mine via email, April, I was telling her that, you know, my life is like swimming. You know, it's like swimming can be either a thing that is a luxury, like sort of this, not a luxury, like a recreational thing, or an athletic thing where you're just, you know, you're if you're in the pool with shorts on or the bathing suit, then you're probably in it for recreational reasons. But if you're in it with full clothes, then you're probably trying to save your life. And no matter, and I told her, I was like, no matter how hard you kick and how you swim and stroke and whatever, it doesn't mean you won't drown, because it just depends on the circumstances of why you're in the water. And I think that's how I would keep trying to explain to her how my life is. It's like, you know what? I'm in life with my in the pool of life with my clothes on, trying to survive. It doesn't mean I won't drown. It just means that I know how to swim. And you really have to know how to swim in life, because it just, you might get a really easy life where you just have to, you can get a little inflatable pool raft thing, put a cooler in there, put a beer in the little slot where the beer goes, and just coast and chill and enjoy the sun. But then some of us are thrown in the pool, we're swimming, and we get sucked in by the cleaning device. And sometimes that's just me. And it doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make me woe is me. It just, I accept it. I accept the tide pool that I'm in. And when it happens, and when things happen around me, I share them. So that's what I'm doing. So don't fault me. And I know some people are like, oh, he just rants and complains. Well, you know, it's not that I'm complaining. I'm sharing. I'm sharing instances that happen to me. And sometimes there are things that maybe you can relate to. And I really push that nobody accepts other people's bullshit when they can't accept their own. It's like, you know what? First, you need to claim what your responsibility is. And once you do that, then we can actually move forward and I can accept, you know, whatever bullshit you're trying to pull on me, you know? But it's not always going to be the case. It's not always going to be the case because people are so immature and they don't want to accept, you know, their portion. But that ain't got nothing to do with me. And that's just it is just So, God, what? This time has flown, y'all. What time is it? It's only got like a couple more minutes to share with you. But anyway, next weekend is Pride. So I will be going up to Seattle Pride to hang out with my friend Quinn. And I look forward to that. God, because we haven't seen each other in so many years. And it'll be fun to catch up. And I'm looking forward. I hope it doesn't rain. I love Seattle Pride, so should be a good time. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to end this show by saying thanks for listening to my rant, because I did have stuff to say. But you know what? Whoever you are, and you know who you are, that is no longer in my life for whatever reason. You know, I don't want to say I wish you the best, because that would be a lie. But I do wish you peace, because that, I think, is something I wish everybody could have, is a peace of mind. And that's a good feeling that I'm looking forward to having one day myself. So, but anyway, thanks for listening to OA Magazine. And maybe next weekend I'll have some fashion reports, some shit that got to do with fashion and style. Because, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I won't. Who knows? You know how this works. Have a great weekend, and thanks for listening.